the example we did at the end of last class, okay, and I have a summary of that on my writing pad. We had an analog high-pass filter, Butterworth, by the way. That's Butterworth high-pass filter, first order. And we had a sampling frequency of 2000 hertz. And we wanted to create the corresponding digital filter used in the bilinear transform. But of course, we had to pre-warp the analog filter first. That's all what we did last class. So we came up with this digital filter, well, the transfer function of this digital filter. And the first thing I want is I want the transfer function. I want the frequency response of the digital filter. So I'll give you about I don't know, five or so minutes to send me the frequency response. Not you, Mr. Beauchamp. Send me the frequency response of this digital filter by email. Yes, Mr. Roll, that's correct. One person? Just one person? Mr. Anderson, what does BRB mean?
That means be right back.
He's doing his nonsense again? Really? One person gonna answer this question? What's the matter with the rest of you? You don't know, or you're just lazy. You can't be bothered. What's the problem? All right. I'm going to assume people are just lazy. Because surely everybody knows how to get the frequency response. Mrs. Stewart, how do you get the frequency response? Mrs. Stewart, are you in class?
Yes, sir.
How do you get the frequency response? Mr. Higgs, how do you get the frequency response? Mr. Higgs, are you in class? You what? Yo, man, I'm not asking you to put anything together. I am just asking you, how do you get the frequency response? I'm not asking you to work on anything. I'm just asking you in one sentence to tell me how you get the frequency response. I'm not asking you right now for the frequency response. I am asking you, how do you get the frequency response? Everybody knows the final exam is next Wednesday, yes? Everybody's aware of that, right?
They got the frequency response just replaced. We have UCC, put E to the J omega.
So why is that so hard? How is it two students couldn't tell me how to do that when we been doing that most of the semester? So the frequency response H of omega 0.1577 e to the j omega minus 1 of e to the j omega minus 0.03546. All right, now get me the magnitude response. Get me the magnitude of that, please. Get me the magnitude of that and send it by email. Mr. Anderson, are you back? All right, I'm going to kick you out. So I'll know when it gets back. I am waiting for the magnitude response.
I trying to
I
send it
will-
right now to your email.
Yeah, me too.
Any of you friendly with Mr. Anderson, you can warn him that he's going to have to send me an email if he wants to get back in. Because I won't know when he shows up. Otherwise, I'm not going to let him back in. He's now in the waiting room. Well, I placed him in the waiting room. I don't know where he is. Mr. Roll, I don't know why y'all can't get the hang of this. When you say take the magnitude of, okay, that's your first line, take the magnitude of. When you say take the magnitude of, you need the J. The J has to be in there. Because that's the complex number you're taking the magnitude of.
Yeah, I scratched out the J.
No, you didn't put it in at the bottom. You didn't put it in the denominator at all. There's a lack of understanding. You're taking the magnitude of a complex number. That's why you have the magnitude signs. You have not yet taken the magnitude. You want to take the magnitude. That's what that equation means. And then at the bottom, when you have taken the magnitude, you still put the magnitude signs. You've taken the magnitude, and now you want to take the magnitude again. That's what your notation is saying. All right. But other than that, it's right. Mr. Johnson, I can't tell if what you've done is right because the right side of your page, where the writing is supposed to be, is virtually non-existent. On the denominator, I see an opening magnitude side, but I don't see any closing magnitude side sign, so I don't know what you're doing. Well, the very bottom equation looks right. All right, let's do it, please. Everybody pay attention, please. All right, so the magnitude of H equals the magnitude of 0.5177 cosine omega plus J sine omega minus 1. Take the magnitude. So this is saying take the magnitude of. Take the magnitude of this complex number. Take the magnitude of this complex number. And then the next line, you will take the magnitude. And when you take the magnitude, there won't be any J anywhere. So this here is 0.5177. The square root cosine omega minus 1. Those are the real numbers squared plus sine squared omega over the square root cosine omega minus 0.03546 squared plus sine squared omega. Any questions about that? So that's the magnitude of digital. That's the magnitude of digital. Now take the magnitude of the analog. Send me the magnitude of HA. So this is the magnitude response of the pre-walk filter. I have one answer that's not right. I have one answer by chat that's not right. I remind you that we talked about how to find the magnitude of analog this way back in 235. 235, 320, 410, and now we're doing it again in 460. Mr. Anderson,
Yes, sir.
good to have you back.
Yeah, so sorry about that. I had to step out for brief moment.
Brief moment, my ass.
So
That was a brief moment in eternity, maybe.
come on, there's only 10 minutes.
10 minutes, my ass.
Okay, Dr. Carter.
Yo, man, I knew exactly when you left. I know exactly when you returned.
Well, Dr. Carter,
I keep telling you, when you leave my class, sign out.
yes, sir, but I did send a message indicating that I had to step out.
No, you in chat, you said, be right back.
Yes, sir.
That don't tell me anything. Be right back when? When you leave my class, please leave my class. Do it properly. We've had this conversation before. All right. Oh, somebody sent me an answer. Give me a second to look at it. Yes, Mr. Roll, that is correct. That is correct. That's the only correct answer I've gotten. I need to move on. So let's do it, please. So to find the first response, we need to replace S by J omega. J omega with J omega plus 3,000. Okay, mine to the top, mine to the bottom. Mine to the J omega. How big is J omega? It's omega big. No need to do any math. It's omega big. What about the bottom? It's the magnitude of complex number, real part squared plus imaginary part squared. There it is. There it is. Analog. The corresponding digital filter. When we plot these two, we see that they have the same cutoff frequency. One student actually did plot those two.
Dr.
Find it. Yes, go ahead.
Never mind. I was asking, you remember that general formula to show us that doesn't apply in this case?
I don't know what that means. I don't know what general form you're talking about.
The general Butterworth formula.
But that's not what you wrote, is it?
The one you give us, that's only for low pass.
Wait a minute. Let me go back and see what you wrote. Oh, my apologies. Yes, that's correct.
That's making sure.
Yeah, that's correct.
So for the low pass filter, it's omega over C, and for high pass filter, it's omega C over omega. Oh, no.
You just divide it out. Yeah, if you divide omega by. Okay. So you can also represent this as divide top by omega. So you have to divide the bottom by omega. So that would be 1 over omega out here. And then you could take the omega inside. And that becomes omega, 1 over 1 over square root 3000 over omega squared plus 1. Yeah.
All right, yeah, that's what I got.
Yeah. All right. What's the other important thing to us? So we got to have the magnitudes. Okay. Now find the difference equation, please. Find the difference equation of the filter for me and send it by. Well, you can put it in chat if you like. Find the difference equation. It's beef chap. I didn't ask for the impulse response.
Hold on, sorry, what you asked? What you asked for?
Difference equation.
Oh, sorry.
And that's not a proper expression of the impulse response anyway, because that's a that's the IIR filter. And you don't get the impulse response that way with the IIR filter. That's a good next question. Get me the impulse response. And that ain't gonna be it. What is the difference equation? I'm waiting for the difference equation. I hope you all realize today's lesson's been nothing but review. And so far, y'all ain't doing too great. Well, I'm talking to the majority of y'all.
Dr. Cartwright,
Yes?
I found a formula. I want to know if it was applicable to find difference equation for this problem.
Yo, man, listen to me. We talked about how you find difference equations, okay?
Is that
So I don't know why you want me to validate your equation. Either you know how to do it or you don't know how to do it. Tell me how you find difference equations.
C inverse open bracket transfer function or H of Z times X of Z?
No. That's not how you find difference equations. Tell me what a difference equation is. Give me an example of a difference equation. Well, Mr. Johnson, you and the rest of the class have got a lot of work to do before next Wednesday.
Dr. Godright,
Yes?
I mean, what I have here is H of omega equal Y of omega over X of omega. That's along the right path, right?
I don't know why you're dealing with omega, but anyway.
But then I'll say Y of omega equal Y of Z evaluated at Z equal E to the.
So why are you not dealing with the transfer function? If you're going to change Y of omega to Y of Z, why not go directly to the transfer function since it's right there on the page?
And just say H of Z equal Y of Z over X of Z.
That's where you begin, yes. You begin with the fact that H of Z is Y of Z over X of Z. That's where you begin. Because you want to end up with Y of N in terms of X of N. That's what a difference equation is. The relationship between Y of N and X of N. All right, 2 more minutes and then we must move on. Mr. Johnson brings up something interesting though. Students want to learn the appropriate formula. Did you see his attack to the problem? He's looking for the appropriate formula. Rather, what he should be learning is the concept. He should be learning the definition of a difference equation. And how do you get a difference equation? That's what he should be learning. He wants the easy answer. He thinks the formula is the easy answer. And I'm not just picking on Mr. Johnson. The rest of you are the same way. You don't learn the concepts. You want to regurgitate a formula. Well, that's not what engineering is all about. Engineering is understanding the concepts, and when you understand the concepts, you know what math you have to do. All right, please pay attention. I'm going to change pages. So one last step. And for difference equations, we really want time delays. Okay. So we want z to negative 1. That's what we want. Z to negative 1, Z to negative 2, Z to negative 3. So the first thing we're going to do is multiply the top by z to negative 1 and multiply the bottom by z to negative 1. You don't have to do this, but it makes the final equation realistic. So this is 0.5177, 1 minus z to negative 1 over 1 minus 0.03546 z to negative 1. And then this is, what is transfer function? What do you mean by transfer function? You mean y of z over x of z. And so you cross multiply and you get y of z times 1 minus 0.03546 z to the negative 1, okay, equals 0.5177. 1 minus z to the negative 1 times x of z. Okay, so then you get y of z minus 0.03546 z to the minus 1 y of z equals 0.5177 x of z minus 0.5177 z power inverse 1 x of z. Now you go to the time domain. Y of n minus 0.03546 y of n minus 1. If we didn't multiply by z negative 1, okay, this here would have been y of n plus 1. And this would have been y of n equals 0.5177 x of n minus 0.5177 x of n minus 1. There's our difference equation. There's our difference equation. Send me the b vector and the a vector. First, send me the a vector. In chat, send me the a vector. Yes, I got one right answer. Yes, got a right answer for the b vector too. Same person. So the same person knows the a vector, the same person knows the b vector. I'm not surprised. That's Johnson, that's not right. That's right, Mr. Roll, but you don't need the comma. In octave, you don't need the comma. Well, two people out of 8 people. But I guess I should be happy quarter of the class got it right there. Mr. Johnson, I find that interesting that you can get the B vector, but you can't get the A vector.
I retype an answer for the A vector right now. I realize where I went off.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Roll, the B vector, you got the B vector right. Yes, Mr. Johnson, your A vector's right. So that's 3 people. 3/8 the class. All right, please pay attention. A vector is nothing more than looking at the coefficients of y. This coefficient here is 1. All right. So A equals 1 negative 0.03546. And the B vector is looking at the x. And we have 0.5177 minus 0.5177. And then in software, we generate this filter then. This filter here, this filter, the one we designed, we generate in software by simply saying y equals filter. Okay. I think it's BA, if I remember correctly. And then you put your x values in. And there you have your filter in software. Now, how do you do it in hardware? To do it in hardware, you need a difference equation diagram. You need a difference equation diagram. Give me the direct form 1, equation diagram. Well, this difference equation, the one we designed, the filter that we designed, has this difference equation. Therefore, it has a difference equation diagram. And I want, actually it has many versions of that. I want the direct form 1 diagram. This is all reviewed. The entire lesson's been reviewed.
You want to send it through email?
It's probably easy to send that by email, yes. Because I want the diagram. Mr. Buchamp, what is that coefficient involved in the 0.03? Is that positive or negative?
Trying to trick me.
No, I'm asking you. I can't tell. It's either a negative sign there or it's a smudge, and I can't tell which it is.
That's a smudge. It's a positive.
It's a positive. Okay, that's good. Yes, Mr. Buchamp, that's correct. Let's see what Mr. Roll has to say. Wow, 2 right answers. I hope that means that I'm gonna get two A's in this class. I'm expecting 2 A's, guys.
Got it.
Don't let me down. What'd you say, Mr. Johnson?
I said expect treat.
Mr. Johnson, talk is cheap, money by land. You ain't show me no A today. You show me an A today, Mr. Johnson?
This wasn't my best. No, sorry. I didn't show
All
an
right, I will pray. I will pray that you'll have your best day on Wednesday.
Yes, sir.
This coming Wednesday. As a matter of fact, I will pray that you all do. But if you haven't studied, then your best won't be good enough. You either know the material or you don't know the material. That's what I like about science. It ain't like humanities when you gotta think, when you're writing essays and stuff, and you gotta give grades to essay. That's difficult. It's easy to grade science stuff. It's either right or it's wrong. There's no emotion attached. All right. Good. Let's do please for the rest of us. Where is... Right? So we begin with the difference equation. Right? And we bring this is 0.5177 x of n minus 0.5177 x of n minus 1. I would bring the y of n over, become positive 0.03546 y of n minus 1. So now we look at that. I would say here's x of n. Here's x of n. Here's y of n on the output. So y of n on the output is going to be the sum of 3 things. Okay, the sum of 3 things. Y of n is the sum of 3 things. Okay, so it's the sum of this first term, 0.5177 x of n. Okay, and then it's the sum of the second term, negative 0.5177 through memory, z negative 1 for memory. So this is negative 0.5177 x of n minus 1. Okay, and then this third term Okay, what are you gonna do? You need memory, and then there's your coefficient. Your coefficient is 0.03546, and you're gonna add it to the sum. And there it is. So in hardware, okay, this is just gain. That's gain. That's negative gain. That's gain. This is memory. Memory. This is memory. This is one sample delay. Zeta negative 1 is one sample delay. One sample delay. So we could build this in PSpice. We could build that in PSpice. Let me show it to you. How do you build memory in PSpice? What device produces memory in PSpice? Let me ask a question another way. What's the transfer function of memory? What's the transfer function of a delay? I taught this to you in 320. I taught this to you at the beginning of this class. This is like lesson 1 or lesson 2. The transfer function of memory is e to the minus as. This is a Laplace part in PSpice. If you put y of n here, then out here you're gonna get well, let's say x. If you put x of n here, out here you're gonna get x of n minus the sample time a. Well, let's call that t, capital T, to remind you that's sample time. So it's easy in PSpice to produce this. In the real world, it's not easy to produce this without using digital techniques. So this same diagram I'm going to use to produce our digital filter in PSpice. Please pay attention. Stop sharing. And let me yeah, that's the right one. So let me share the screen now. See there, the bottom diagram? You see the bottom diagram? That's my digital filter. Look carefully. Okay. Here's x of n here. This is x of n. This is the delayed x of n. See this? Delayed by the sample time. That's why I gave you sample time earlier this lesson. The sampling frequency is 2000 hertz. So the sampling time is reciprocal of that, 0.0005. There's your negative sign. There's your S variable. That's the S variable. That's not seconds. That's your plus S. Okay. And I've only used one coefficient, but I'm subtracting them like it says to do. Okay. And then there's my Y. This is my Y event out here. Okay. There's my delay. There's my coefficient, my positive coefficient, going back to Y. So indeed I am. The output is the sum of three things. Okay. The sum of x of n multiplied by its coefficient, the sum of delayed x of n multiplied by this coefficient. And then, of course, that coefficient would be negative for this. That's what you saw in my diagram earlier. So there's my digital filter. And folks, you look in main textbooks, you won't see this. Not many people know about this. What's my top
Dr.
diagram?
Goblin,
Just go ahead.
you did create this concept by yourself? Because you saying that I know you're doing a lot of work, you see, some theory work. So I was wondering if you made something like this before.
Somebody, yes, somebody else published this, but it's not well known. It's not well known among educators. So I'm showing you now. Here's up top. What's up top? There's a Laplace plot. There's our analog filter. Okay. Well, I just wrote it differently. I just wrote it instead of writing S of S plus 3000. I just divided it through by 3000. My analog filter is the top diagram. The output is VO. My digital filter is the bottom diagram. Its output is VOZ. And now let's simulate. And this here is in the Fricks domain. So we're not doing a transient analysis right now. We're doing the AC analysis. Let me show you that. Set up. We're doing the AC sweep. And we're sweeping from 10 hertz to 1,000 hertz. Okay. And we do. Come on, you gotta move out of the way. We do simulate. And there it is. And so I say, give me the transfer function. What transfer function? The output of the analog divided by the input of the analog. Okay. There it is. Okay. Give me now the output of the digital. The output of the digital VOD. Okay. VOD, and I should divide by the input, and the input was the same as it was for the analog. Okay, but I don't need to because the input's 1 volt. That's why it didn't matter if I divided here. But I'll divide just to show you the real meaning of a transfer function. Output divided by input. So there it is again. Okay, so no change. Okay. So green is my analog filter. That's the magnitude response of my analog filter. Red is the magnitude response of the digital filter we designed in class. So I'm showing you the same information you would have gotten from the octave graph. How you plot the digital magnitude response and then the analog magnitude response in octave. This is exactly what you've gotten. As a matter of fact, one student did it. And now let's look at a cutoff frequency. See, they got the same cutoff frequency. That's what we want. We want 0.707, don't we? We go here and we look up 0.707, and lo and behold, what is it? 477.7. And what is it supposed to be? It's supposed to be, what was the cutoff frequency? 3,000.
7.5.
3,000 divided by 2 pi. 477.5. And we got 477.7, which is damn close. Isn't that amazing? Isn't it amazing that you can create a digital filter in PSpice? And if you understand how digital filters work, the only thing a digital filter is doing that you can't do with analog is create the memory easily. So digital filters are using memory, a delay. Of course, a delay and memory is easy to create digitally. It's not easy to create it in the analog world. Isn't that amazing? This is the graph I sent you. I think it was last night. And if you were to plot that digital equation, you would get the red. Notice the red is a better filter. Give me 2 reasons why the red is a better filter. The digital is a better filter. Give me 2 reasons. All right, give me 1 reason. Look at this graph and tell me why from these graphs, the red is a better filter.
I'm assuming because the maximum of 2 goes to 1.
I don't know who's talking. You need to talk directly into your mic so we can hear you properly. Please try.
I'm assuming because with the red graph, down to 2 went to 1.
All right, not that it went to 1. It is mostly 1 after the cutoff frequency. It is closer to 1 than the green is. What do we call that band? From the cutoff frequency up, what do we call that band? What do we call that band of frequencies?
Pass band.
The pass band. The pass band. The pass band, because this is a high pass filter. It's the pass band. We would like the pass band and the pass band for the frequency response to be 1. That's what we would like. And the red is closer to 1 everywhere in the pass band. And the higher the frequency you go, the closer it is to 1. Now give me the second reason. Give me the second reason. I told you what the ideal is in the pass band. What is the ideal in the transition band? What do we really want in the transition band and the stop band? What do we want? What do we want the amplitude to be? Oh. So all these years we've been plotting graphs of filters. Y'all didn't know what the filter was telling you. All right, let me ask the question another way. What does the ideal magnitude response look like for a high pass filter? An ideal magnitude response for a high pass filter, what does that look like?
I mean, when you compare the two, the digital one is more linear.
No. Please answer my last question. What do we want to accomplish from an ideal high pass filter? What does the magnitude response look like for ideal high pass filter? Ideal magnitude response for a high pass filter. It just amazes me that students don't get this point after having so many courses in filters. We want a gain of 1 and a gain of 0. That's what we want. 1 and 0, that's what we want. And this is a cutoff frequency. FC. That's the cutoff frequency. This is what we want. This is what we get with a first order filter. This is what we get with a first order filter. That's what we get. There you what we want. We want to pass 0. 0. We don't want to pass anything. We want it to be 0 below the cutoff frequency. We wanted to pass everything above the cutoff frequency. So that's what our ideal magnitude response looks like. And you've seen these diagrams, but I guess you never stop to think, what do they mean? You've seen this. This is the low pass filter. This is the ideal response. Well, low pass filter, we want to pass everything up until the cutoff frequency, and then we don't pass nothing after that. And our filters approximate this. That's a first order filter. Okay. That's a second order filter. That's a third order filter. Okay. With each order filter, the closer we approximate the ideal. Now knowing that, let's go back to our piece. Let's go back to our piece size. Why is the red, which is digital, better than the green?
Could you repeat your question, Liz?
Why is the red better than the green?
Another thing would be it's less than the green before the cutoff frequency.
Yes, it is closer to zero. In the transition band and the stop band, it is close. The red is closer to zero. We want it to be zero. So the red filter is better for two reasons. In the transition band and in the stop band, it is closer to zero. And in the pass band, it is closer to 1. We are closer to what we want with the red filter, which is a digital filter, than we are with the analog filter. By the way, this analog filter, this eventually goes to 1, eventually. Why did we have to stop at 1,000? Why do we have to stop there? Why did we have to stop at 1,000? At 1,000 hertz?
Would it continue to increase after 1,000, or would it just level off at 1?
I didn't ask you what will it do after
Because
1,000.
the sampling frequency was 2,000, so you'd do that half, right?
Thank you very much. You have to think, if you're dealing with a digital filter, when you're dealing with digital filter, there is a maximum frequency at which it will work. And what is that maximum frequency? It is always the sampling frequency divided by 2. Always. And you would remember this if you studied potentially throughout the week, throughout the semester. But the semester is over. The semester is over for me. Well, not quite. I have to grade. You can have Monday's class to study.
You sure, Dr. Cartwright?
What do you mean if I'm sure?
Man, more review is always good.
Yo, man, I gave you the today class as a review class. Everything I did today was review. There is nothing new today. Well, the only new thing is you now realize that you could implement a digital filter in PSpice. Even though that's not new. That's like the second lesson I gave you. You check back when we were talking about moving average filters. I gave you a demonstration in PSpice about that. See, what y'all want me to do is to do your work for you. You should have been reviewing all semester. And I keep preaching this, but nobody listens. If you review after every lesson,